Hi, Scorpio. Alright, welcome to this place if you're new here, and welcome back if you're returning. Whether you are new or returning, I hope that this reading helps you some way along the path, and I thank you for your time and showing up, and I hope it gives you some inspiration and maybe put some worry to rest, okay? Alright, so let's talk about a few things before we jump into your cards. There's something about horned animals. Maybe you'll see one, or this is one of your totems. If you have any animal spirit medicine that you work with, or again, that is very strong with you, I feel like that's significant. If that's not usually something that you go to, I would just maybe think about, like, okay, a horned animal, what do you imagine there? This is also, I guess, showing these are initiation stages astrologically, so Aries, Taurus, and Capricorn, those could also be highlighted in your map. The one that I'm seeing emphasized and sitting like with itself is the ram. Oh, interesting. So this has to do with a few years ago. You had this yearly reading that talked about the lily pad. Do you remember? In all this green? And it was talking about jumping from one all the way to the next thing. So there's a 2-year goal, or a 2-year I saw a ring. So something's connecting. And then that's turning into like the Vescus Pisces. I think that's how you say that, Vescus Pisces. So let's just talk about the ram for a second. That's your other Mars energy. The ram can jump from a 2-inch ledge 20 feet. That's all it needs, 2 inches. It can jump 20 feet and land on another 2-inch ledge if it needs to. So your capacity for moving through something or out of something or towards something is very, I guess it's very easy for you in this time. As Mars is sitting in a place, it's interesting we're going so astrological, but that's the way I see it, and we'll talk more in depth of this over on Patreon, but Mars is sitting in Gemini for you right now, so you could think about that in your map as well. This can, in a positive, can show a lot of confidence and self-authority, right? Like, when I'm speaking with confidence. It can also be when I'm speaking, I am loud and mean, and this is where, if Gemini is the mind, Mercury, and Mars is a lot of power, then the power of the mind is very strong right now. As you are Scorpio, then you want to make sure that you're being easy on yourself. Particularly, I saw when I was buttoning up this shirt, it made me think of like Vatos and Suicidal Tendencies, which is an old punk band, but then it got me thinking, like, okay, some of you may understand that or have dealt with this kind of energy in yourself. What does that mean? I'm going to give up on myself, right? I'm going to hurt myself is what this energy means. So perhaps someone is working out of this, and if you're in this, then I want you to know that this is showing me a person, again, getting out of that energy. And these aren't words that I usually use, but I actually heard love and light. I heard it and saw it. love and light, and that's what people love about you. Especially Scorpio rising right now, your energy is really bright. Even though this is a square time to you, I feel like when you go out in the world, you're gonna like get compliments. Like someone will be like, wow, your hair's so pretty, or I really like that shirt, or you have a great smile. If you happen to be a person that you could actually do well in your business, you could meet new clients, you could meet new, just even new friends. You could be like, wow, this is interesting. Maybe even going to like, this is an event during the day also. Maybe just getting some sunshine could also help a lot. I know for some of you, Scorpio energy, sometimes from what I have experienced, that sometimes Scorpio energy finds Leo season too hot. It's like you're ruled by Mars, it's sun time, those together feel really strong, and it can be kind of draining. So you may only need a little bit of sunshine to replenish energy, right? If we sit in the sun all day, we become tired. If we sit in the sun for 10 minutes, we're rejuvenated. So I guess this month is a lot about knowing where to put your energy and for how long. And positive, loving, like lighter people, lighter energy. That maybe that's, again, we talked, I guess, suicidal tendencies is again, it's like a heavy punk rock band. It's just like, they're fucking with me subliminally. They're fucking with me subliminally. It's like, you're right. Yeah, the TV is doing that. You're right. The thoughts that you have about the world, the truth you know about the world, that's right. But I heard, don't let the darkness of the world dim your light. Okay? Okay. We're going to leave that like that. Okay, give me a second. Let me cover the camera so I know where to look at the jammy. There we go. Okay. Let's jump in here, Scorpio. Well, I guess let's go in order. Let's go one thing at a time. So there's an angel helping you. There's some kind of winged creature. I'm seeing this as an angelic person, or I don't like the word entity. This is a winged spiritual being that's helping you sort through something. For some of you, this has to do with Chiron. Oh, that makes sense. It could have to do, there's something about a horse too, like, this could have been where some of you had to put your pet down, or a pet that has passed over, an animal that you love that has died. They could be the ones that are trying to help you. This is also, I think, Scorpio rising specifically is a very feral being, right? You feel like an animal. Like separate from, I heard, humanity sometimes. In this card, the horse is laying down, which horses only lay down. My old homegirl taught me this. She had some horses. That horses only lay down when they trust the other horses that they're around. Oh, that was another thing. Someone's sleeping. Something about sleeping. Oh yeah, that's right here. We'll get to that after. Excuse me. So this is showing me, again, someone that's able to relax. And I heard, please help me. Maybe that was part of it, is someone needed to ask Spirit for help. Because maybe the other humans weren't doing it. Do you know what I mean? And I think Gemini season was a little rough for some of you. There was just some things about it that it was more mentally, right? But now until Virgo season, it seems to be a thing. Mercury will be in retrograde then, which has a lot to do with the mind. It's kind of the next... let's leave it like that. I feel like you're holding more of your light, creating more of your light. There's this word that we learned over on Patreon called alit, A-L-I-T, which is about, you know how they say like, oh, go towards the light or walk in the light, that's a thing. But alit is when we create our own light. We create our own light. And so perhaps there's something that a person has also created that they're now bringing to light, or like it's, again, especially Venus and the sun up in the 10th house, it's like show your, I heard show your wares, show your, don't be afraid. Someone also has a very strong, like, your dreams are really powerful this month, Scorpio. They could, I feel like someone could be having really powerful visions, or they've always had very powerful visions. And sometimes things where you're like, I don't understand this, or like, I don't want to think this. I don't want to, no, right? We're shaking our head no. It's like, no, I don't want to think about that. Well, that's very important to you, Leo being your square. Leo is I want, and you are the psyche, right? So if once the subconscious becomes more conscious, this is shadow work, right? Then we can adjust it more, right? It still may come. It's a natural part of us, like, say it's in a realm that we don't want. It would be like, okay, well, I don't want to think about that. If it happens to be something that only hurts you. Do you know what I mean? I think spending some time alone could also help with processing something emotionally, because it's, okay, Gemini's reading will be very helpful. I'll link that. Please link this. They talked about being the prison guard of their mind, or like the ninja of their mind. It's a huge adjustment point for you. This is also Mercury in your map. Let's move on. So someone's vision, again, what they can see, especially in the wider picture, I think you're supposed to, this month is showing me more of a, it's good to have that wide outlook. I heard everything's going to be fine. But I think with the cards that are being shown here, and because of what you've already been through, and I heard specifically in your mind, then it would be more of changing the aperture and the focus into, I heard one thing at a time. Gemini talked about that. One thing. You see this? It's just like one thing at a time. That's what creates the resilience. That's what creates the gears moving, right? It's like one tooth at a time. Maybe some of you are also having some health things. I'm seeing like the vision, the teeth. It's like one tooth, right? If you want to take care of yourself physically, you want to do one thing at a time. You know, maybe it's just I need to go to the dentist. I need to get my eyes checked. Um, I need to get a new mattress. I need to whatever the needs to are. Make a list and figure out what's the most important. And I guess I kind of like that we're going into the body. Some of you have a rotten tooth and you have to get rid of it. Because your teeth, there's something about like the poison of that little thing where you're like, oh, that doesn't bother me. Like it hurts sometimes, but it doesn't bother me. This is what I'm seeing. And it's like, no, dude, pull that thing out. Extract it. Get it out of your body. Maybe that's what's been happening in a mental way, but I also feel like there's something physically where you want to get rid of that because it's festering, whether you realize it or not, and it's affecting the whole vessel, this one little thing. Interesting. Now, if you've already handled this kind of stuff, then you could be relinquishing the residue of whatever that was connected to. Interesting reading, Scorpio. I heard your 12th house makes you paranoid. Or your past lives make you paranoid. Make someone paranoid, their past lives. Make them paranoid in this life. If you're Scorpio rising specifically, remember that you have the South Node going through your 12th house. This means you're removing, relinquishing, flushing, all of it. These past life memories, pain, experiences, whatever, whether they're conscious or not. 12th house is hidden and unconscious, right? 12th house makes us feel crazy. That's where asylums are, right? And hospitals and things like that. Like, so that's, and I think a person, it's almost kind of helpful. Well, I heard it's helpful to be conscious of that. Now, something I learned when I was taking classes on trauma is, say you get into a space, again, someone who's experienced a lot of pain and trauma. This is collective, but we're talking through the Scorpio lens, which to me is the strongest that way, especially psychologically. When you've dealt with a lot, and now you're in this life, sometimes you have to ask yourself, like, in this moment, I heard I'm alive. And if you get tight about it, I think a way to create more stability and to alleviate, to create more stability and to have the state of harmony and balance return, because that's Libra, right? Is to acknowledge the difference between the past and the present. Do you know what I mean? I heard if you hate yourself, you're only hurting yourself. If you hate someone else, you're only hurting yourself. Right? Even if you hate the government, it's like you're still only hurting yourself. right? That energy, again, love and light is what, I mean, I'm not a hippy dippy all positive here. Obviously, those of you who've been around, we do a lot of shadow work here, but it's, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to be able to consciously be mentally strong like that, and maybe that's what that Mars and Gemini will do. It'll help you to be more determined, to be like, no, that doesn't even have anything to do with this life. That has to do with some other, like, I heard, I don't want to be the prisoner of my own mind. I don't want to live in the past anymore. I heard, I want to be, I want to have a good time. I want to have a good time. You should look to the fire in your chart. Let me take a note of that. Because that's going to show your confidence. There's something successful too in relation to your sixth house, Scorpio, which has to do with your work. So you have two work houses that are highlighted. And I think it really depends on your thinking, whether it's negative or positive. I know that's easier. But let's just leave it like that. So I think changing your sixth house being emphasized is also showing me, like, how have you changed your routine over the last, say, like 9 months, or like a year? Like, what's the last, say the last year, right? That's the last time Venus was in Leo, the last time the sun was in Leo, so you could go back to last year. It's not exactly, I don't know if you want to look at like what's changed. You could, but I think it's more of like, well, yeah, let's take it like that. What's changed since last year in a positive way? Because I heard maybe spirit felt far away, spirit or faith felt far away, and now it's becoming more near to someone. Again, this hermit energy is very faithful. Now, some of you, you have the card of dreams next to the fear card, so, and that sits next to the moon. So dreams could be a little bit funky right now. Like, if you have a nightmare, I guess some of you could have, this is showing me nightmares. If you're having a hard time sleeping, you want to try to switch your, or while you're sleeping, you want to try to switch your routine perhaps at night, right? Say between like 6 and 8 o'clock. Try to give yourself a few hours, like before you go to bed, where you haven't eaten, you haven't been watching TV, you're not on your cell phone. Not to tell you what to do, this is just a message I see. Like, give yourself some space and time before, when you switch from this world to the next world, right? Like, give yourself that. And maybe some of you need this in the morning, where it's like an hour or two when you wake up, dream world, into this reality, just to kind of, I'm seeing this Pisces like water energy. Instead of, I mean, I heard if you want to just get up and go, I guess you can. But I really feel like it would be helpful to just sit with the first two, again, those 2 hours as you wake and the 2 hours before bed. I heard be more conscious of them, because there's something about these, the transference of these different worlds. I would also pay attention to the moon. I don't know if this is like how it transits in your chart or just like the sign of it, the stage of it, balsamic, full, etc. I feel like the moon, maybe when the moon's in Libra, that's probably kind of tricky because that would be your 12th house. So, maybe you want to pay attention to that. Add it to your calendar or something where it's just like, dude, this is going to be a tricky day when the moon's in Libra. Or like, this is a tricky day when the moon is in your 9th house or your 5th house. And just be like, okay, I'm not going to be, my mind, or maybe you just keep track, like, wow, I was really clear today. And then maybe it's just like, man, I thought about the past like all day today. Weird. But instead of reacting to it, right, it's more of just an acknowledgement. Does this make sense? Okay. There's also a Sagittarius person in your life. I also see like water, fire. Actually, you kind of have all the elements in your foundation. I think what was scaring somebody isn't scaring them anymore. Maybe someone has a moon in Pisces, so like the intuition's really strong, but again, that sometimes that creates a complete illusion of like intuition. Where it's just like, it reminds me, I'm being reminded of when I worked with women, these people, adults with schizophrenia, and when I experienced watching someone else's paranoia. And it's like I couldn't convince them that their reality wasn't the reality. I just had to like create and try to affirm with them that they were safe in that moment until that feeling passed. Does this make sense? Because it wasn't true. And again, sometimes Pisces moon can do that. Again, it's like, because again, it's the ultimate intuition, but Pisces is illusion too. So again, it's like figuring out like what's real or not, I guess. And that just might have to do with, I don't know. I mean, even Pluto and Scorpio generation, it's like specific. I know some of you here have that. It's like there's a very, very thin line, this veil between other lives and this life. And with Neptune and Pisces, it can create a bit of that too. So just being really conscious of like, I heard I am alive. No, I heard I know that whatever this is what this is what I'm meant to go through. But you also have control. I need you to know that you also have control over how far you want to allow the past to have a hold on you. You only have one Earth card to close this out. Or no, you have two. You have the Six of Pentacles and the Princess of Earth, so the Page. I guess it's I saw please watch Gemini's reading. Please watch Gemini's reading. Okay. I'm going to leave that like that. Thank you for being here, Scorpio. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was helpful and nurturing in some way. made you feel stronger. You know, and your other Mars energy, Aries, they talked a lot about foundation and structure of things. So, and their confidence, right? They're fire. They're very masculine fire, so it's about taking action. And so that may give you an indication of like how to move past something, right? Scorpio to me represents the past. That's why some people say K2 is exalted in your sign. I don't see that particularly, but I could see the connection of it. And to me, Aries is cardinal, so it's always moving forward, right? It's not like, oh, I'm on the edge of winter and spring. It's like, no, it's spring. Let's go. Like, look what's beautiful. Look what's ahead of us. It's so beautiful. And I heard, imagine if you were a newborn babe. Like right now, you were just reborn. You had no karma. You had you were just, you had your intelligence and your knowledge and your wisdom from your experiences, but you didn't have any of the bad karma. You didn't have any of the lessons you had to learn. What would you do? What would you do? Okay. Thank you, Scorpio, again for being here. I'm going to make an extended and put it over on Patreon. I think I might take a break and then jump back in because that felt a little... I'll see how I feel. I want to give myself at least a few minutes, 10 minutes. Okay. Right, I want to honor what I just did, what we just did. You know, honor what we just worked through and talked about, and really feel into the fact that like we are here now. Because again, I don't want to bring that past energy into the future. I don't think that that's worth it. Yeah, someone's not allowing... yeah, someone's not affected by someone else's deceit. Someone's not affected by dishonesty, I guess. Okay. Take care. I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.